So, but this is a higher level of a sale than what they've traditionally done. And so they've needed to be able to maximize their time in the field and efficiently basically hit all their clients.
Yeah, there's two parts there, right? One is you want to visit your potential new client, but also maximize the time that you're on your route. You go into different places to be able to just turn up at a place and visit your clients or arrange a visit with them. So this tool helps us to, as it says, it allows us to fill those gaps in the day. Every salesperson, when they're out there, at some point during the day gets the phone call, don't come and see me right now, I'm really busy. Well, that can be a 1 hour gap, a 2 hour gap. This tool helps us to find the next thing that person can do. So it brings that sales rep much more productivity. They're able to sit there and just very quickly, and I'll show you that in a little bit, how that works.
So our primary flagship product is MapAnything. It is often on the AppExchange. You can actually, and I hope you do, go download it and try it. We have a free trial. The product basically is a native 100% Force.com built GeoAnalytics application, meaning that all your data will stay inside of Salesforce. We're not going to send it outside Salesforce's stack. Very, very important, especially to people in the financial industry like Chris's company here. So that's the first most important thing. The next thing about our application that's pretty amazing is we have what we call a cross-object query engine. For those that have been with Salesforce for a while, you know that sometimes there's a few limitations with the reporting model. Our tool actually has a better reporting capability with the ability to surface data than standard Salesforce. We just happen to dump that onto the map, and that's going to let you map complex scenarios, whether you need to rate the accounts, the leads, the opportunities that you want your people to go route to. We are built for the enterprise class client. Doesn't mean you have to be an enterprise class company, but we work quite closely with Chris here during the development, and they've got tens of millions of records in their Salesforce. That's right, tens of millions of records. They have thousands of users, hundreds of profiles. So you get an idea of the scale that our tool has to be able to effectively be managed in that enterprise space and the data volume that we need to be able to handle. And we've actually designed and built the product around that client, this client right here. We are a map-centric user interface, which means anything you put on the map, you can actually take action on. We've got custom tooltips, custom buttons. You can do things like mass change in owners, so take a territory shape file and update every record in that territory to a new owner, or change a field, or assign a task, or dump it to a campaign. So there's a lot of tools in this product here that's going to be able to solve business use cases across sales, sales operations, marketing, field service, etc. Okay, click.
So the results we got from this was that we were able to really engage with our prospects and clients. We knew where they were from us, so if the rep was taking 10 minutes out and he's sitting in a coffee shop, very easily on his mobile device, he's able to see who's around him. If a new prospect pops up, he's able to very quickly go out and meet them. You know, we've had cases where this has happened within 5 minutes. A new lead has been delivered and he happens to be in the area and he's walked out and it's just across the street. Because it's able to visualize it right where he is, and it shows him thing. And the other thing is the scheduling the gaps. That really did help our people a lot be much more productive. Because, you know, our things were into small merchants, the mom and pop shops, the small restaurants, etc. Those things, usually the person who you want to speak to is the one running the business and doing everything in the business. So, you know, sometimes it's not possible to go in there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because he's that busy and he needs to reschedule. This allows us to just move it and adjust it as necessary. And then it gives our sales managers the ability to see what's happening in their different territories with their different people. They're not plotting, they're not looking at them as they're moving around every single thing, but they are able to see, oh, they went and saw Fred today. They went and saw Jane today. They've gone and seen this business. They visited their branch that they get leads from. So, and then higher up, of course, we now have the C-level executives are able to visualize in totality what's happening with their business. In the past, there was gaps. It's very hard sometimes from a list to work out that Maine has nobody in it. Well, when you see it on the map, immediately it jumps out. There's this big hole where nothing is happening. That allows them to optimize where people are going, where they're traveling to, and also if we need to hire into that area, to be able to put a sales representative, our business consultant, in that location. This was not possible before because it's very hard to do that with sheets of paper and lists. So this was a real big help to us. So I'm going to show you now a video that we put together. And really what this is, it's a day in the life to a degree of what a sales rep does. So of course things are shortened up a little bit, but I'm going to try and talk you through it as we go through it. So imagine that the guy's woke up in the morning and he's fired up his machine, and you log into Salesforce, and MapAnything is a tab within it. If you're on a mobile device, it's smart enough to know that you're on a mobile device and will display it in a mobile device form factor, and I'll simulate that during the video in a little bit. So this is the MapAnything interface, and on the side here what we're opening up is what we call our corporate folders. These are the things that we as admins are able to build and pre-construct for our users. This doesn't stop our users from constructing their own. They can go ahead and build as many queries as they like. It's actually a very simple interface to do that. It has lots of nice features in it. But as an admin, I build these pre-built queries. So for instance, I have my DDA leads. This means this is coming in from my banking partners. A specialized type of lead that I want them to attach. A bank lead, this is referrals we're getting. And then my leads is their whole totality of what they're getting. But as you can see, we fill this out for branches, accounts, opportunities. All of these things are pre-built, set up, ready for them to do. So I'm just going through a few of these here and showing you the folders.
One of the nice,
go ahead, John.
I was saying one of the nice things about these folders is that you could set security profile for access. So different profiles can have access to different folders. So it can be a federated access model.
So I chose a query from that list, and as a user, I just choose it, and it plots this out onto the map for me. So this is the location for every single one of those leads. Now the good thing about this is MapAnything is also smart enough to know that says, if a place does not have an address, it sets it to a default location. So we often get the question, why is all my leads appearing up in Washington, D.C.? Well, because you need to go there and fix the address. They also give you a tool to help you do that as part of this. So one of the things that we ask our reps to do is go visit their local branches. We work a lot with our banking partners. So as you can see, it's very easy here to use the tooltips. You just click on it. There is an action set that's underneath that we get to control as admins. And inside there, it's gathering all different things about it and putting them in related lists for us. So in this case, they can see when their visits were, how many tasks they had, any leads that are associated with that particular branch, a partner. This is all right there underneath that button, very easy. And this is both available laptop and their mobile device. So instead of them hunting and pecking through their lists and their views, it's all right in front of them. So you're going to see me in a minute, and I'm just moving around here to show you the interface. I'm going to now add another query. And for those old school people like me with grey hair and so on, you'll notice that this is just like the old overhead projectors. The base map is underneath, and we're starting to layer on acetates on top, which is all of these different colored flags and markers. So you can see right now, I have one set here, another set here, and even within this set, you can also see that I can split down to those that I've contacted and those that I've qualified. So on the same map, I'm showing multiple pieces of information from different queries, from different objects. So this allows somebody that's out in the field to do their work. They can layer on all this stuff. They don't have to just be visiting leads today. All right, they can be visiting whatever they need to do. So you can see I'm able to switch in and out different parts of the map very simply. I can go add another query. So as a sales rep, I'm sat having my morning coffee, and I'm looking to see what do I need to do today. And I'm starting to work out, here's my pattern of things that I'm going to be setting up. So I've got my non-activated activities, opportunities, the my leads. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a boundary very shortly here. And what that'll do is it'll group all this together. So you're going to see me in a second. I'm going to select a shape. And with that shape, I'm going to create a boundary. And then what you're going to see happen very shortly, this is very controllable, very easy to do. And with a single click, right here, I'm going to add all of these to a route. There you go. I've already grouped all them together. I've laid this all out ready for us to work with. So all of those items within that shape are now in my list of things that I'm going to visit today. They all have an address. We can add phone numbers. We can do all sorts of things here. What I'm setting here is the parameters for my route that I'm going to take. How am I going to do this? So in this case, we tell it when it starts, when it ends, our appointment duration, so we can set some default values. John's just added, after this video is done, now we have a start and an end point that you can set as default as well. So you can set your home location and always travel out from your home location. So you'll see me in a minute now. I'm going to be looking at this list and I'm going to get a phone call, and I've worked out that I need to talk to a certain person on this list at a certain time. So I'm able to set that time when I need to be there, and that this is going to be an hour-long discussion. So you see, very simple to work, very nice and easy to do. And then I go ahead and I hit the little lightning bolt, and this optimizes the route. So it's going to now take into account all the different things along that journey, which is the best way to get from A to B, including the fact that I needed to be at a certain spot at a certain time. If I have 5 or 6 of those where I've planned my day, and if it can't do it, it will tell you. It also tells you if there's a gap in that. So if the journey time between 3 and 4 was 10 minutes, but I put them 2 hours apart, it's going to tell me that there's a gap in the middle of that. Let's fill it. So it gives me the option to go and pull up another query, lay another thing onto this map, and again, you can build more and more. So you can see right now, here's the list of all the things that I'm going to be doing. And we're able to scroll up and down. If I need to take one out of the list, very simply, I just hit the plus, the X, and it's gone from the list. And then I can go and add another one and put one back in. So if I wanted to add another one from somewhere just outside, or I realized that that was a mistake and I need to put it back in, right-click it on and go to the folders, pull down your list again, lay on another set on top. You can see me laying on another set on top. And a little hard to see, but right here, you start seeing these numbers appearing. This is where the MapAnything is clustering items together for me. So it's saying there's multiple things happening on that map. It's too complicated for you to, I can't plot 2 or 3 or 4 on top of each other. So it tells me the number, and as you was to zoom into that, it would start opening up those number clusters. So you can see right here, I looked for a couple of different queries. I'm trying to find something to fill that place where that was. So I can go through as many of these as I like. And the beauty of this is I can just keep layering onto this map. And each time we do that, I'm able to put some more information in, or I'm able to gather information. You're going to see me in a minute. There we go. I've decided I want that one in, so I'm going to add it. Or it's already there. I'm going to go try a different one. I want to look at a little bit of information. And I go down here and I say, okay, I've added that in too, and I replot. So this is all real time. This is happening as you see it. There's no smoke or mirrors here. This is fast, and it's searching through millions of records, and it's searching through lots of information to do this. The other thing that it does too is I can actually plot on traffic. So if I'm looking at this first thing this morning, I could actually hit the traffic part of it. It uses the TomTom traffic stuff, which is very good, and it'll tell me if there's a delay on this road, and I can choose to move around it and to do something else.
One very important thing is that when you actually plan your trip with the schedule optimization, we actually account for historical traffic conditions for the time of travel between the points. So it does you no good, where, like Atlanta, where I spent a good part of my early career, how long it takes you to go from Roswell to downtown, a little bit different at 8 in the morning than it is at 11 in the morning. So we understand that, and when we do that schedule optimization, we account for that as well.
So the good thing about this too is also that we're able to build these things a whole month in advance if we want. And we can save all of these different, you can have multiple ones in the same day. So we're able to build up this thing, and they can reuse these. So if, for instance, in our world, we have a routine that our people have to do is they have to go visit their particular bank and their branches in that bank in a certain period of time. They can choose when they do, but they have to visit all of them in a week. Well, these guys will plot 5 days worth of visits and reuse them so that, every Monday I'm going to these 5. And then when they go to those 5, they can then plot the second query on top of that, which is my new leads today, my non-activated today, and they just keep layering those up, draw it around it, add it to the route, and it will automatically do that for them. So, so what I've done here, you've seen the interface just switch over real quickly. So one of the things that John does for us is we've got the ability to simulate the mobile part of this so that you can see how it looks as if this was on an iPad. And so the interface has changed a little. We have some stuff on this side that's now changed a little bit, but it does exactly the same things. Okay, so you're going to see the sales rep now actually be able to go take that route, find it, plot it, suspense is killing you, isn't it? There it is. So now you can see exactly the same thing that we just plotted out earlier. Now it's got all the numbers down the side here. We can adjust those, move it up and down. Again, as you click on the top of things, you can see this button set. These are extremely powerful, actually. They really help us a lot because we can put custom things in there. One of them being our Snap Home. This is a custom button for us. We also have this check-in, which I'll show you in a second. This allows us to be much more productive for our sales reps. We can actually give them the things that they need to do right there on the map. So as they get to a location, they just pop it open. I'm here, I've checked in, take me to the place where I make the sale right from the map. If you notice, we're trying to keep them out of Salesforce proper, let's say, and this is a much more user-friendly interface. These button sets are completely customizable. You can have a whole series of them. It's tied to profiles or whatever we want it to be. So I can have a different set from somebody in the field. I could telesales could have a different set if they're doing scheduling. You can again see this is our check-in and check-out feature. So this page here was something that I talked to John about, and I said, people want a single place. When they go to a visit, what happens? You want to record your visit. You want to put some notes in, and you want to make sure that you can't get all your latest contacts. Any of you use Salesforce a lot know that that's 3, 4, 5, 6 clicks that these guys have to do. How many times do you get the salesman who just wants the big button? Press the button, I'm done, let's get out of here. So what we did was we said, okay, if you check in and you check out, we'll present you to this page. I asked him to do this, and this is one of the things about this company, that, I'm going to do my little pitch for them right now, is best damn vendors I've ever worked with. 2 days later, this thing was ready, built, and done. Very fast. And they do that often for us.
Thank you, Chris. On that note, we have a framework that we designed for adding custom buttons inside the flow of those check-ins, check-out. So that is a standard feature. The only thing that becomes custom is this very simple visual force page inside that flow. So it's one page pointing to the fields that Chris wanted, so it was no big deal. We said, no problem, fine. Now you got a custom check-in, check-out.
So this helps not only the sales rep, but it helps our sales management team. What it does is, if you've noticed, there's a little section up there. It tells me what branch they were at. This can work on all objects, what partner we're dealing with, when they got there, when they left, how long they spent there. This is all valuable information in our world because we want to optimize the amount of time that our reps are spending with their primary sources for leads. And we want to make sure that they're visiting. This is not a case of checking up on it. It's really a case of, hey, how can we help you do this? So this becomes a thing that the sales management team can use to help them when they go in to visit. Oh, you're going there next Tuesday? I'll come with you. I've got a gap in my day to be able to do that.
And the easier you make it for them to do the data entry, the more likely it is they'll actually do the data entry, right? So the idea of this as a single button as they walk out of the bank, where they could update the status of the contacts, add a new contact, jam a note in there. As Chris mentioned, in some cases we're actually updating 4 different objects all at the same time from a single screen. You'll notice that there's a lot of toggles. It's mostly toggles as opposed to typing. So the odds of them actually doing it are pretty high as opposed to not. And Now it actually becomes reportable because it's structured, and you can actually run reports on it and see effectiveness of visits. So it's an important thing to be able to introduce these kind of custom flows into the process of their day.
So this is how we add another one in, and I just noticed down here I'm going to run out of time in a minute. But this is how they easily add another one to the route. They just select it from the list again. You see that little dot appeared. I have added it. I go and redo the route, and off we go. So I'm going to pause right here, John, because I'd like to get a little time of asking questions, if that's all right.
Sure.
So that was really about how our people use this tool every single day. You can see right here what we're doing, by the way, is this is adding a point of interest. They have how many items in their point of interest?
14 million currently.
So 14 million items in their point of interest. This rep decided that, hey, I am in a dentist mood today. So he goes there and he identifies a dentist that's not one that he's seen before, adds it to his route, and off he goes. So while this is running, I'll just let that carry on. This is now a sales manager who's looking at his people. And here's the clustering happening, so he can see, and as he drives into that, you just saw it open up. Okay, so this is MapAnything in the way that we use it. I can honestly, hand on heart, say it's really improved our sales reps' days. They are, they're visiting more people every single day. They're able to spend more quality time with them, not only because they're optimizing their route, but they also know how long it's going to take them to get to the next place. And for those that are on the road, that is sometimes the key. They're able to see how far it is. They're able to hit the traffic. Oh my God, I got to go. I got to leave now because there's a 20-minute delay on the freeway I'm going up. Okay, or I need to find an optimal way around it. This also sends all of that directional data to the local mobile device and use the local mobile device's mapping capability so they can click, take me there, put it down, and it talks to them through their GPS.
Any questions? Sure. Territory management is kind of a big area, which we have this ability to do custom shape layers built off the common cartography, or what we call the administrative boundaries. United States, the common ones are state, county, zip code, school districts, voting precincts. For example, in Australia, I believe you still have states, and then it goes subdivision, city areas. We do the same thing around the world.
We use it for population mapping too.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Sales operations. We can do a white space, which is not up here, which is to say, like, for example, Chris can actually, we have the ability to plot where every single one of his sales reps are on a map, and around every sales rep put a 50-mile circle, right? And then what we can actually do is plot, but the plot we can do is everything that doesn't fall in a circle. And what that shows you is a white space analysis. Where do I actually need a rep, right? So it's very easy for us to do things like that. Marketing, geocentric marketing, since you can do a
campaign management.
Exactly.
You're able to plot everything out and decide, well, target this set for this time zone, and just keep moving it across the map. And it just really, the visualization of this thing really improves everybody's day. It's amazing when you start sitting in front of somebody and you throw this up, and I'm suddenly able to plot. One of the good ones that we had was our CEO, Frank Bisignano. He called us. Right, so we get this phone call. I want to go to Manhattan tomorrow and visit all of my Clover deals. Okay, so this is a brand new product we're selling. You get that phone call, okay, you better turn it around. An hour later, he's got a map in front of him with every single thing plotted out, and he could go to any one of those and direct it, and with directions. So, that's how quickly we can turn it around for the C-level executives, because we have this tool.
You could take actions on the map too, so you could right click and send a bunch of contacts within a distance to a campaign or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Do you need to go back as me? Or
Yep. So we can actually do that. So the data, not only can we map anything that's already in Salesforce, but one of these, as Chris had mentioned, one of the powers of this tool is that, in fact, it's a kind of like a layer whereby you can stack other data feeds on top of each other.
So you could check out that feed, which we actually embedded into Salesforce. So you can access that data that's in Salesforce immediately.
As long as there's some sort of location reference, and it doesn't have to be precise, a zip code will do, right? So,
And the other thing I want to tell you about that is, even if your object does not have an address, but a related one does, okay, you can reference that related address to plot this item out here, which is something that a lot of things can't do, right? You want to work on this object, but you have your address over here. One of the benefits of this is that those two things can be hooked together.
so
Now I actually embedded it into the actual contact. So we've got the relation.
perfect.
The relationship
Correct. You can any object that's inside Salesforce customer standard can be plotted. Any secondary relationship can be plotted, and you can even pull feeds directly out from outside Salesforce. In this case, I'm pulling census data by county and plotting it as a backdrop. That data is not actually in Salesforce, but I'm using Salesforce MapAnything as a visualization or layer by which I can compare my other, say, leads or contacts or accounts against that. So you have this ability to interact with, not necessarily transacting with it, which is a very powerful thing.
And at this moment, I'm logged in as a rep. So I put that power to do all of this, what John just did, in their hands. They can do this themselves.
You have a question?
So do you guys also have maps for areas outside the U.S.?
We do. We have a very good coverage all over. If there's a particular country that you're interested in, let me know. But we're pretty solid all over the world.
Okay. And do you guys also offer the same level down in terms of demographic?
Demographics country by country, but what we tell our clients when we go into a new country, if you tell us what a primary source is, and that's not like off Bob's website, but if you point us towards like a government website, like we just did this for Australia, then we will incorporate that as part of the standard package, as long as it's primary source data. So we have a mechanism by which we can actually feed that right into MapAnything. Yeah, it's pretty close to it. I mean, there may be a lead time if it's not something we've done before, but most of let's say the civilized world where this stuff is widely available, we can do. And we just did this for a client of ours, or actually one of our resellers down in Brazil, for Brazilian data. So even if it isn't necessarily first world, but.
I'm just curious, so this time it takes you guys to feed in this additional information from government sites. How long does it usually take you to this?
It's the APIs of those other sites. If it's good APIs, it's damn near instantaneous. If it's bad APIs and we get nothing but a raw data file, still not a problem, but I got to take that raw data file, feed it into my Amazon Web Services in a structured format, and then feed it down, and that's a little bit longer. So if there's APIs, can you pull up just an account? Like one of the things that we actually plot anything on the map.
You just want me to plot something there?
Anything on the map for her. A good example of this, okay? And we actually do this as an example. We had mentioned this is completely customizable.
Wi-Fi's a little slow at times, so.
Live demos.
Yeah, that's the kicker, right? There he goes. But that's, that was it. I just plotted all of those out.
All right. So now, see this right here? First of all these tabs and buttons are customizable. You have the ability to add your own tabs. This one in particular that I have, this weather one that we've included, is not really all that interesting to me. I actually have it there for only one reason, and I use this as an example. The example that I have here is what I actually did is through our structure is I passed the location parameter of that pin to an outside API for a weather service and then pulled that data back in and made it appear like it's as part of that account or record, and then I can do updates off that record if I wanted to. The point is, if there's APIs like that, that's an hour, 2 maybe, right? If it's unstructured data and I've got a flat file and I got to do something with it, it might be a little bit longer.
Is this something that your developers would have to do? Or
Use your own developers. If it's this type of integration, there's APIs, you can do it yourself. If it's something where it's unstructured data, you'd either have to A, read it into Salesforce, and then we can handle it, or B, you'd have to talk to us and we'd work it out with you.
I think there's another question back there.
This gentleman.
Can you take GPS data, convert it, both visualize it as well as report back, like mapping the city that it's in?
Yes, we can. We've done that for a company that specializes in moving security cases around the country for a super paranoid cell phone company when they've got a new version of their product coming out. That shall remain nameless. Can you go to shapefiles?
Right here, come do it.
Yep.
Come play.
Go to go create a shapefile.
All right, I've got to get out of this stuff.
So the overlays, so out of the
Where's
box,
the shape?
how,
You come do it.
yeah.
It's easier trying to interpret somebody talking to me and doing at the same time. My brain can't handle that.
All right, I hear you. It is the fourth day of Dreamforce.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
So, how do you right click on this thing? Okay.
While you're setting that up,
So custom
Just show
shape
me-
layers,
okay, go ahead.
custom shape layers, it's click and draw. We have a set of drawing tools, circles, squares, polygons, whatever. What we find it more likely when we start to get into the area of like territory management, I'm like trying to go up to Gina's folder, is we have this idea, I mentioned the shape layer builder. So I've got it set to the US. Where are you from? What city?
Seattle.
All right, perfect. So let's say zip codes in Seattle. Or we can just type Seattle and spell it correctly. How do you spell Seattle? S-E-A-L-E.
right there at the bottom.
All right. Good Lord, I can't spell. All right. So there is your Metro Seattle area based on zip code. But basically any boundary cartography will work, and you can actually load in your own custom shape files, for example, in Esri format for the gentlemen clients who use Esri. So you got a question, right?
Yeah, I want to ask you how many times did you spend to do all this configuration and what resources do you need instead of a program that's analyst?
Really, quite frankly, if you have built reports in Salesforce, you're more than qualified to use our query builder to build these views. And actually, in many cases, our report builder, our query builder is a little bit easier than Salesforce's. So we have a federated model to actually set up the base objects. You probably want a system admin to help set up the base objects, the triggers, the workflow rules, to actually set up the queries and work inside MapAnything. Someone in marketing, sales operations, any sales guys, anybody who's, like I said, has set up reports in the past will do fine with this.
It doesn't take a lot. Trust me. It's
Scenarios is what I mean. Let's say running a scenario where you want to make the team for today, and then you want to run another scenario to see how it looks like if you just put 10. Can you save that and come back to it?
You can save them, yeah, sure, you can save as many of those as you want to save.
like I said, most of our sales reps, what they do is they set up one per day, and then that's their base route that they use, and then they layer on top of that. So they'll be putting extra ones, taking ones off. They can have up half a dozen of these. And the other thing is the manager can actually do that for them. All right, so the manager can say, I'm coming to visit you today and I want to spend my day with you, and here is 5 places I want to hit.
And actually, not just the manager, but someone can be set as a route admin. So like an inside sales guy could be responsible for setting up the routes for an outside sales guy. Like that's, you can do that. Go ahead.
You're redrawing your territories, and let's say you're moving some account to a different person. Does that require some customization or something that can?
No, you want to move accounts from one person to the other. You literally just plot the accounts out, draw the shape around the ones you want, right click, change ownership.
So Herm Massac, he's logged in not as an admin, so he doesn't have a whole bunch of things that he would normally have.
Let me log out.
Yeah. So if he was, that we have this action, we can update 30,000 records at a time with our product. So you can literally move 30,000 accounts to a new owner, update a field on those records, assign a task dynamically, make a mass chatter post, all from the map
He'll go with it.
The new person's gonna take it over, it's only get the time.
We follow the model that Salesforce follows when you move things around. It depends if you want to check that. You know how when you change an owner currently on an account, it gives you options? We have the same options. It's up to you how you want that to work. So,
I'm plotting.
by the way, we're in booth West 730, the West Hall, booth 730. We're doing demos all day long. They're 15, 20 minutes. If you watch a demo, there's actually a chance to win a prize, $1,000. So hey, that's not the worst thing in the world. So you know here we go. Just do a right click and you can actually do it anywhere on the map.
What is it you wanted? Oh.
Right click, mass action, change owner.
Yeah. And these are complete, as I said, these sets of actions are completely customizable. So I can build a whole one for my admins who could have maybe 10 different things that we want them to do very simply en masse on just drawing the circle around it, draw the line around it, go and make things say, okay, show me everything in Georgia, and I want to change all of those and give a new owner. These things are very simple to achieve.
And one of the nice things too is you can, that's changing things en masse, but one of the things I should mention if you want to enable, and by the way, this cluster says there's 423 accounts underneath that. We introduced this idea of clusters because if I was to actually plot 423 items in that area, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? That's why we actually introduced clusters and heat maps. It lets you understand lots of data very quickly. And let me just, but you can go to a single pin, and you can actually, if there was data on the tooltip, you can actually edit it from the tooltip as well. I think we're being kicked out, so you can wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you.